Welcome back to the next part of our interview with Jim Stanford, economist with the Canadian Auto Workers Union, and we're talking about the future of the auto industry in North America. Jim, a lot of the cars that are being sold in North America now, competing with North American-made cars, are coming from Japan or from Germany. There's apparently a Fiat company that's going to open up in North America. These are not low-wage countries. Why can't North American car manufacturers one, produce more competitive cars, but more than that, there's millions and millions of dollars of public money that has been handed over in subsidies to auto manufacturers. Should there be some kind of public say in how auto manufacturing takes place in North America?
Well, you're right, Paul, to point out that it isn't really about wages. I mean, there's a threat that it will become about wages. China has developed a very rapidly growing and export-oriented auto industry, and we will probably, unless there's a change, we'll see Chinese-made vehicles coming into the North American market within a couple of years. But so far, most of the imports that are flooding our market are from Japan, Korea, and Europe, where wages are not substantially lower than they are in North America. In fact, in some places, they're higher. So it hasn't been about wages. It has been about other jurisdictions which have put in place an effective industrial strategy to support their auto industry. Why? Because they want the jobs and they want the productivity and they want the incomes that are generated by an auto industry. And so that includes all kinds of supports, technology supports, managed exchange rate, export subsidies, and direct investment grants to help the companies keep their capital and products up to date. In North America, I mean, there have been a few ad hoc subsidies, but for the most part, the right-wing governments in North America have taken a sort of hands-off attitude to that whole idea of industrial policy. They say, we're not going to pick winners, we'll let the free market and the business community decide what industries we're going to be in. So there has not been anything like the sort of support for the auto industry or for other high-tech, high-value industries in North America as the Europeans give, as the Japanese give, as today the Chinese give. So if we want to have industries like this in North America, we have to have an active strategy to build them and keep them here.
Why don't we see more of a movement from trade unions, both in the United States and Canada, for some kind of protection for people who are being thrown on the streets? Certainly the working people in these factories weren't the ones that decided not to have an industrial strategy, and they weren't the ones that decided to build SUVs and gas guzzlers. They had very little to say about any of this, but certainly they're suffering the consequences of it. But you don't hear much out of the unions in terms of how to protect people that are being thrown out of their jobs.
Well, in a way, that's the first thing a union does, actually, Paul, is we actually do try to protect people. We have been very aggressive in when layoffs are announced to try and take care of the people who are laid off by getting early retirement packages and various kind of severance incentives. In some cases, we've had entire shifts or entire plants close where no one actually got laid off because we were so effective at taking care of the people and ensuring that there were bridging benefits for people to go to early retirement and so on.
But Jim, you're talking about in relationship to the number of people that are going to be affected by 100,000, 200,000 more layoffs, a right. Ripple effect of 1 million or more people. You're talking about a very small segment of the working population that's highly unionized and has had some leverage. I'm talking about where the unions, in terms of the politics of the day, especially if you look at American politics, it's hard to even see them, and they wind up supporting candidates without making these kinds of demands. And in Canada as well, you don't see it in the society as a whole, the unions playing a role at the political level, demanding protection from people that are going to suffer the consequences of this recession.
Well, I mean, our union in Canada, the CAW, Canadian Auto Workers, we see ourselves as a politically active union, not in a partisan sense, but in a non-partisan sense. So we've been raising the demand for an auto pact. We've been raising the demand for limits on globalization. We've been raising the demand to combine environmental rules to force the auto industry to clean up its act, but at the same time, domestic content rules to make sure that we get a share of the jobs and investment in a new green car industry. So those are all demands that we've been making. Now, whether we've been hurt or not is another question, and that has to do with the environment that we're operating in, a very right-wing, corporatized environment, and maybe with us trying to become more effective and creative in getting the message across. But we've been absolutely out there at linking the crisis that our members face, getting laid off from well-paying jobs where they're more productive and efficient and higher quality than they've ever been, linking that crisis to the challenges of globalization and the whole neoliberal right-wing agenda, which says government doesn't pick winners, we'll let the corporations decide what our economy looks like. We've been absolutely full front in attacking that view and linking it to the crisis that our members are facing. And that's the struggle that we absolutely see ourselves in.